Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathsala. I am Dr. Hari Mohan from Center for Medical Biotechnology, Maharshi Dayanand University, Rohtak, Haryana. Today we will discuss about the module History, Scope and Future Perspective of Animal Cell Biotechnology under paper Animal Cell Biotechnology. The learning objectives of this module are to know about the history of animal cell biotechnology, to learn about the scope of animal cell biotechnology, what are its future perspective, and what are the challenges in animal cell biotechnology. Animal cell biotechnology may be defined as a science which deals with uses of biotechnological interventions to use animals for cell and organ culture, for production of biopharmaceuticals, for transgenic animal production, and for cloning. In other words, we can say animal cell biotechnology is use of animals or animal product for welfare of human being. So the ultimate purpose is to provide better biopharmaceuticals, better organ transplants, better facilities of diagnosis, better facilities of screening for toxic products and cosmetics for human being. So this branch of biotechnology results in advancement in five main areas, and these are advances in human health. So all classes of sciences, they are directly related to welfare of human health. So animal cell biotechnology is also concerned with advancement in human health. In addition, it is also concerned with the animal cell culture and organ culture, improvement in the animal health and animal welfare, enhancement of animal products. So animal products become more acceptable for human medicine. It is also concerned with environmental and conservational benefits. So by mean of animal cell biotechnology, we are very much concerned about the environment. So how to preserve the environment, how to minimize the changes which are deleterious for human being, and how to conserve the species, the animals which are getting extincted, which are in a endangered status or which have already been extincted. Can we revive them? Can we take them back on earth? So animal cell biotechnology deals with all these objectives. Applications which were developed through research lead to emergence of four main areas of animal cell biotechnology, and these are animal genomics. By understanding the genomics of animals, we can better understand the basis of disease resistance, disease susceptibility, weight gain, and determinants of nutrition value. Animal cloning. Cloning does not manipulate the animal genetic makeup, but it simplify form another genetically identical animal. Animal cell culture has changed the way of research as most of the screening and toxicity testing is done on animal cells nowadays instead of laboratory animals. And fourth one is genetic engineering of animals. So recombinant genes have been inserted in animals, and animals with required traits or animals secreting certain kind of growth factors or hormones have been prepared. So these four sectors have paved the basis of animal cell biotechnology. It is very important to know the history, how the things develop. So animal cell biotechnology is not a new science. People knew this well before, even when they were not knowing the basis of the techniques. For example, in 500 BC, Chinese people were using moldy curd to treat boil. Although at that time they didn't know what is the basis of this, but they were practicing animal cell biotechnology. Precisely, if we say how it all started, it was in 1878 when Claude Bernard proposed physiological system of an organism can be maintained in a living system after death. So he was probably talking about animal cell culture. In 1885, it was Raux who maintained embryonic chick cell in the saline culture. It was in 1903 when Joly observed cell division of salamander leukocytes in vitro. But precisely, it was Harrison who is considered to be a great contributor. It was in 1907 when he cultivated frog nerve cells in lymph node held by hanging drop method and observed the growth of nerve fiber in vitro for several weeks. For his contribution, he is considered as a father of cell culture techniques. It was in 1910 when Burroughs succeeded in long-term cultivation of chicken embryo cells in plasma clot. 1911, Lewis and Lewis made the first liquid media consisting of seawater, serum, embryo extract, salt, and peptone. 1913, Carroll introduced strict aseptic techniques so that cells could be cultured for longer periods. So this was also a important contribution. 1916, Dawes and Jones introduced proteolytic enzyme trypsin for subculture of adult cells. 1923, Carroll and Baker developed the T-flask, which we still use for the animal cell culture. 1927, Carroll and Rivera produced the first viral vaccine, that is for vaccinia. In 1940s, with the invention of antibiotics, they were used in culture media to decrease the problem of contamination. 1948, it was Arley who isolated mouse L. fibroblast, which formed clones from single cells. 49, Ender reported poliovirus could be grown in on the human embryonic cells in culture. It was in 1952 the famous HeLa cell lines were discovered. So, Gray established a continuous cell line from human cervical carcinoma. 1953, Watson and Crick discovered DNA double helix model. 1954, Abercrombie observed contact inhibition. 1955, Eagle studied the nutrient requirement of selected cell in culture and established the first widely used chemically defined media. 1964, Littlefield introduced the HAT medium, which is used in hybridoma technology. It was in 1965 when Ham introduced the first serum-free media. 1970 was the time when recombinant DNA technology was discovered. 75, it was Kohler and Milstein who first used hybridoma to produce monoclonal antibody. 77, DNA sequencing techniques were developed. 1981, first mice was successfully cloned. So this was a landmark event. So first mice was cloned in 1981. In 1982, human insulin became the first recombinant protein to be licensed as a therapeutic agent. PCR was developed by Kary Mullis in 1985. In 1985 itself, human growth hormones were produced from recombinant bacteria and that was accepted for therapeutic use. It was in 1986 when lymphoblastoid interferon was licensed for use. 1989, recombinant arthropoietin was used in clinical trials. 1990, recombinant products were used in clinical trial. For example, hepatitis B surface antigen, factor 8, CD4, GM-CSF, EGF, monoclonal antibodies, IL-2, etc. It was a landmark event in 1996 when Dolly was created by Ian Wilmette by cloning technique. Similarly, in 2001, Copycat was cloned. In 2009, Injaz, that was a camel, was developed by cloning technique. So, India has also contributed in the animal cloning. In 2009, NDRI Karnal, Haryana developed Samrupa. Although it was first cloned Murrah buffalo, but the buffalo died shortly after birth. In 2009 itself, Grima 1 was cloned. In 2010, Grima 2 was cloned. In 2010 itself, first male calf was cloned, and in 2016, Central Institute of Research on Buffalo, Hisar, developed CIRB Gaurav. So we can say India has also contributed to the animal cloning technique. So what are the scopes of animal cell biotechnology. If we talk about animal cell culture, it can be used to create model system. Like animals were used as model, mice model, rat model, rabbit model, or the fly model. In the similar manner, animal cell culture can be used as model, and on this model system we can perform different kind of experiments. So now we don't need to go directly to the lab animals for experimentation. Before that, we can screen the drugs, which can screen the toxins on the model system of animal cell culture we have. So it is also important for toxicity testing. Whatever drug is there in very high concentration, it can act as a toxin for human being. So to test them whether a given chemical which is used for treatment or for some other purpose is toxic to the human cells, animal cell culture can be used very efficiently. So this will give directly the first hand data about the toxigenicity of any chemical. Animal cell culture is becoming more and more important in cancer research, as we can grow the cell lines which are derived from cancer, or we can convert a primary cell line into a cancerous cell line. So nowadays we have techniques, we have interventions which can convert a normal somatic cell into a cancer cell. So by this we can understand the mechanism of cancer generation, we can understand the mechanism how cancer is produced and how it can be treated. So animal cell culture is getting more and more important in cancer research. The main application with which the animal cell culture was started was to grow the viruses, because viruses cannot be grown in the artificial media. So initially animal cell culture was designed with the objective of growing viruses, and nowadays we have n number of cell lines which can be used for specific virus. For example, we can grow rotavirus in MA104 cell line, we can grow bluetongue virus in the other viro cell lines, etc. We can grow human hepatitis B virus, C virus in the respective cell lines. So growing viruses to high titer make us understand the mechanism of viral replication and the interventions which can be used to stop viral replication. So we can say animal cell culture is highly required for advancement in the virology. Animal cell culture has also been used for cell-based manufacturing, to manufacture the products of biopharmaceuticals, hormones, enzymes in the cell line. So whether we can clone a gene which encode for insulin in a animal cell culture, that will be wonderful. We can produce the enzymes or biopharmaceuticals in the cell line of our interest. In addition, animal cell culture is also getting more important in genetic counseling. So the prenatal diagnosis of any kind of genetic abnormality can be done by using this technique, and we can insert the recombinant DNA in the cell line. So for genetic engineering interventions for expressing recombinant protein in any given cell line is getting more and more advanced. Nowadays we can express two or more than two protein in a given cell line. So that will give a combination of recombinant protein. In case of virology, we can make the capsid by expressing two, three, or four proteins simultaneously. Animal cell culture is also important for screening of drugs. So before going directly to animals or human being, first we can screen the drug whether it is effective in animal cell culture. For example, for diabetes, we have model cell lines. So we can test any drug which can be useful in treatment of diabetes first in the cell line, and then we can go to the animal model, then we can go to human being. So, and animal cell culture is also important in gene therapy. Very soon in the near future, it may be possible to treat the cells which are deficient in certain kind of genes, take the cells out of body, treat them, make them normal, and place back in the body. So this concept of gene therapy will also become true with the assistance of animal cell culture technology. In animal cell biotechnology, mouse model can be prepared by the information we have. For example, gene discovery and first functional validation can be done on fly screen, on zebra screen, or chicken screen. Once the gene has been screened on the model animals, then it is used for search for human homologue for by data mining. So by using bioinformatics softwares, the genes which were present in the model animals were deduced to human being, and if we find certain kind of homologs, then these genes can be cloned, and after cloning it require target validation and high throughput screening. Once all these steps are done, then mouse models can be developed for having certain kind of variation or certain kind of abnormality in that gene, and these mouse models can be used for screening of anti-diabetic drug or anti-cancerous drugs or any other drugs. Animal cell biotechnology play very important role in human health. It is mandated with the production of biopharmaceuticals, means production of enzymes and hormones which human beings require in the animals. Now what is coming up is the compatible transplant organs. So the organs of pig and human being are very much similar. If we can produce human organ in pig, that will be wonderful, as we are always in deficiency of liver, kidney and other organs. So if we are able to grow human organs in pig or any other animal species, that will directly contribute to human welfare. In addition, animal cell biotechnology is also concerned with improved food quality. So if we can increase the body mass of animal in short time, or if we can improve the milk production of animal, that will directly contribute to improved food quality. By mean of recombinant DNA technology, we can insert gene for specific nutrients. For example, for vitamin D or for some other kind of growth hormone, we can express these hormones or factors in milk, and that milk will be enriched with the nutrients. In addition, animal cell biotechnology is also concerned with animal health, as newer technology like artificial insemination, predetermination of sex, embryo transfer, multiple ovulation embryo transfer, and synchronization of estrus. They directly contribute to improved animal health and better methods to gain maximum benefit from animals. Animal cell biotechnology has provided farmers a very strong tool, that is artificial insemination. Artificial insemination is collection of semen from a high quality bull and depositing that semen in a recipient. By this technique, a single high quality bull can be used for thousands and thousands of female which may be present at very far distances. For this purpose, generally the female estrous cycle is regulated by using hormonal injections. This technique has resulted in rapid upliftment of genetically inferior animals. Gender preselection or gender predetermination is a very strong technique that can be used to produce animal of choice. So whether we require only female calves or we require only male calves, that can be done by using sexing of sperms or sexing of embryo. So sexing of sperm or sexing of embryo result in determination of sex before implantation, and that can be used for changing the ratio of male to female in a given animal population. Multiple ovulation embryo transfer technique is utilized for maximum efficiency of reproduction in a high quality female, as by normal methods a high quality female can yield maximum 10 to 20 offsprings, but by using multiple ovulation embryo transfer technique, hundreds and thousands of offspring can be obtained from a single high quality female. For this purpose, by using combinations of hormones such as GnRH, FSH, the multiple ovulation is done and these ova are fertilized with a high quality bull semen. These fertilized embryo are collected and these embryo are inferior quality female. So these inferior quality female can be used to rear and grow the baby of a high quality female and high quality male. So it results in rapid genetic upliftment of animal population. Animal cloning is a powerful technique. It was Dolly, which was created for the first time by Ian Wilmette. The important thing about cloning is the baby is genetically similar to the donor. So exactly we can say that the newborn calf have three mothers. One from which ova is taken and nucleus of ova is removed. Second from which the nucleus is taken, and third in which the gestation period of the fetus is completed. But this technique also have certain kind of limitations as the efficiency of animal cloning is very low right now because of certain defects in epigenetic reprogramming. The newborn calf may suffer with many kind of disease and survival of these clones are not very high right now. So these techniques need to be refined so that there is proper epigenetic reprogramming and that clone can be used very similarly with a normal animal. The cloning technique have bright future as this can be used for preservation of endangered animals. It can be used for studying the effect of drug etc. on duplicates. Means we can study the effect of toxins, drugs on the genetically identical animals, and it will definitely improve agricultural production. Transgenic animals seems to be a promising thing for future. If we want to express certain character in animal, we can clone that gene and insert that gene in animals. There are many methods by which the gene can be inserted in an animal. It can be retrovirus mediated transgenesis, which is very popularly used and commonly used. Second is pro-nuclear microinjection. Third is embryonic stem cell method, and fourth is sperm mediated transfer. So these techniques can be used to transfer a gene of interest in the animals. So transgenic animal technology can be used for improving agricultural products. For example, if somatotropin is expressed in an animal, it will result in faster growth rate or leaner growth. So depending on our requirement, we can insert the gene of our interest. It will increase the nutritional content. For example, lactoferrin can be expressed in milk. It can turn animals into efficient grazers. So animal can be converted into a machine which will convert the low nutrient value into high nutrient food. This technique can be used for transferring the antimicrobial gene to the farm animals. So in this way we can make the animals more disease resistant. Transgenic animals can be used as bioreactor. So these animals can be used for producing biopharmaceuticals, producing the important industrial products, and these products can be secreted in milk or expressed in meat. For example, spider silk protein has been expressed in cattle and released in that is released in milk. That milk can be used for production of biosteel. So right now the procedure has been standardized in goat. So goat milk can be used as source of biosteel. The advantage with goats is they reproduce faster than cows and they are cheaper than cows and they don't require sophisticated animal husbandry practices. So they can be reared very easily. In addition, hens also make good bioreactor as they are cheap and they produce a lot of eggs. So protein of our interest can be expressed in hens, and that protein can be obtained from the eggs. So in this way, by using transgenic animal technology, animals can serve as bioreactor in which we can produce the protein of our interest in high concentration. Human antibodies can be produced in animals. By using monoclonal antibody technique, antibody of human origin can be produced and synthesized in animals. And these antibodies can be used to treat cancer, to treat heart disease, and to prevent transplant rejection. Humanized monoclonal antibodies were developed to prevent human anti-mouse antibody response. So in this picture, we can see the diagrammatic representation how humanized antibodies can be produced in mice by hybridoma technology. So by hybridoma technology, we can produce monoclonal antibody of our interest, that is of human origin. This picture again shows the same technique where the antigen is injected in mice and the spleen cells are isolated. These spleen cells are fused with myeloma cells, and this fusion of spleen cell with myeloma cell impart them a property of immortality. These immotile cells, which have a property of secreting a specific kind of antibody, what we say monoclonal antibody, can be selected in a het medium. So when these cells are allowed to grow on het medium, only the cell which have both property, which is immotile as well as which secrete a specific kind of antibody is selected, and these hybridoma cells can be used for production of that particular kind of monoclonal antibody in high amount. Animal cell biotechnology can be used for rapid growth of animals. For example, by using bovine somatotrophin, the growth rate of animals can be increased. Means their rate of body weight gain can be increased. What is bovine somatotrophin? It is a natural occurring growth hormone which is produced in pituitary gland in the endocrine system. If we inject bovine somatotrophin in cattle, milk production can be increased by approximately 15%. So, these hormones, bovine somatotrophin and other growth hormones, can be used to increase the body weight gain, to increase the milk production, to increase the egg production. So, many transgenic animals and products have been prepared and they are ready to be marketed. For example, in pigs, human hemoglobin has been manufactured. A xenograft can be prepared, which is a practice of grafting an organ or tissue from one species to another. This xenograft technique has paved the way to form humanized organs in pig or other animals. Transgenic mice have been used in several ways. These mice have been used as a model organism for studying disease, and they can be used for producing human antibodies. By means of transgenic animal technology, the cattle and buffalo, they can be made disease resistant. By inserting certain genes, the cattle can be made resistant to mastitis. So these disease resistant animals will be valuable in increasing the yield, in increasing the productivity of farmers. So what are the future perspective of animal cell biotechnology? Recent development in animal cell biotechnology seems promising. Techniques like animal cloning, transgenic animals, multiple ovulation embryo transfer techniques, they seems very powerful. They will have direct impact on human health and environment, so that effect need to be assessed. Animals with very high yield For example, high meat yield, high milk, wool, or hide yield will have direct contribution to the benefit of farmers and direct impact on health of a normal human being. It will be possible to get the animals which are disease resistant by inserting some kind of genes in the normal animal, and animals will be used for growing human organs. It will be also be interesting to notice so whether we can produce more and more hormones which are rare and growth factors which cause certain kind of disease in the animal model or in the animal cell tissue culture. So that will be interesting to see how that will replenish our existing knowledge. But animal cell biotechnology also suffers with many challenges, the challenges which need to be answered, and the most important one is ethical issues. The animal bodies like PETA, they always assert that animals are also living beings, so they need to be treated with dignity and respect. So techniques like multiple ovulation, embryo transfer, and cloning, these people always caution the ethical issues related with these techniques, and whether these techniques like transgenic animal, they will have impact on environment, whether that impact can be negative or positive. So that need to be assessed very carefully. So some products have been marketed, some of the transgenic animal products have been marketed, but the public acceptability of these products are still low. People are hesitating in accepting the transgenic products or recombinant animal products. So these techniques need to be refined so that they become more precise and with less harmful effect. For any kind of biopharmaceuticals, foolproof clinical trials need to be done before going to human being use, and the problems associated with epigenetic modification and reprogramming need to be addressed, because the animals which have been made by cloning, they suffers with certain kind of illness and they died prematurely. So that concern also need to be addressed, whether that technique need can be applied directly to human being. Before that, we need to answer these concerns. So we can summarize the module as this: animal cell biotechnology is equipped with powerful tools which can change the way we eat, which can change the way we live and we take treatment. Animal cell culture technology can work as a tool to minimize animal experimentation. So instead of doing all the experiments directly in animals, we have another technique, that is animal cell culture and organ culture. So we can screen the drugs, which can screen cosmetics on animal cell culture or organ culture. So these cosmetics, drugs, toxin can directly access on the cell culture. The techniques like embryo transfer, sexing of sperms and embryo, they will also change the face of animal husbandry. Cloning of animal can be used for rapid genetic improvement, and it can serve as a guide for applying this technique in human being. This technique can also be important in revival of species which have been extincted from earth. So if we have some kind of cells or their DNA, whether we can produce the same kind of animal again on this earth. Transgenic animals, they have potential to satisfy the hunger of growing population, and they have the capability of large production in terms of meat, milk, wool and hide. So animal cell biotechnology is equipped with very good techniques, but we need to be very alert whether these techniques may have some kind of adverse impact on environment, or these techniques will affect human health in a negative way. So we need to be very alert, we need to access every kind of situation, and then we need to make decision whether we need to move in that direction. For example, animal cloning. So whether we need to proceed animal cloning to human cloning. So that need to be addressed. But in nutshell, we can say animal cell biotechnology will be very useful for human welfare, and that will prove an important branch of science that will change the face of humanity. Thank you very much.